I think most security experts or crypto people would tell you it is not secure at all. The idea of entering your seed phrase digitally into anything is discouraged by a lot of people. Now, this is again, you have to weigh your risks. So, should you necessarily have your entire balance in your BitClout account that you're publicly using? Maybe not. Soon, we're going to have hardware wallets. We'll have ways to create paper keys so that you can send some BitClout and kind of keep it in cold storage and never log in with it. And that's going to be the play, just like it always has been.
Yep.
So, identity, what it does is it just makes it super, super simple to sign transactions. And basically what that means is anytime you follow someone, anytime you like something, if you buy a coin, they're all transactions in the database. And in order to prove that you created that transaction, you have to sign it. In Ethereum, we have things like extensions like MetaMask,
MetaMask,
where
yeah.
when you need to do something, it'll pop up and it'll say sign it. And that's not really the smoothest user experience. If you imagine having to do that every single time you wanted to like a post, it would probably drive people away pretty quickly. So in a way, identity is a necessary evil. Um, the fact that it stores your seed phrase in plain text, it seems a little bit egregious to me. It doesn't. I'm not sure why it needs to. And anyone that has physical access to your machine basically has access to your account. If they know where to look, they can just open up the dev tools, look into identity, and see your encryption key and your encrypted seed hex. You put those two things together, and you have your seed. So, from a kind of traditional crypto standpoint, it's highly insecure. Now, relatively speaking, most websites can't access this data, right? It's sandbox. So if you go to some nefarious, bitcloutzz.com, they can't just look into this storage. They can't just access it easily. However, extensions that request full access to your data or full access to bitclout.com, they can inject scripts into these things and extract the data. So it's always been the case that you should not use browser extensions that are not open source, especially ones that request full access to your data. So you really just kind of got to do your own research and be really careful there. And, always err on the side of caution.
So, for someone who's a newbie user, how do you check if the browser extension is open source or not?
Yeah, so most of the time it will have a direct listing to a GitHub page or something like that in the web store. There's usually a website link as part of the metadata of any extension. And if you click that and it takes you to GitHub, it's most likely open source. Now, frankly, when you're dealing with something like crypto and BitClout, which kind of, mends two worlds, I would be extremely careful, even if you know it's open source. You might want to look to a trusted developer or a friend that can look it over for you, that can audit it, and see what they're doing with this data. Make sure that they're not making any external calls. So BitClout Plus, for example, it only hits bitclout.com. It doesn't hit any other website, no tracking, no external calls. It's not actually possible for me to see anything that you're doing with the extension. And in doing that, I limit the exposure that I'm introducing by using an extension to begin with. So, if you have the technical ability to kind of verify that for yourself, you should absolutely do it. If you don't, but you know someone that can, ask them. And if you are not able to kind of trust in the developer that's putting it out, then use extreme caution.